What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be mainly taking a look at where the auction house is at right now in college football 25 Ultimate Team. Is it a good time to be buying cards? Is it a better time to be selling cards? Those types of things. I'm also going to just be talking about my updated squad, not a ton, but just my brief updated squad, where it's at, and kind of what I look at each and every day that I load up this game. Now, the main thing for me is the daily recruit packs. That's really the only packs I open up right now. I don't open up, these booster packs, although, if you want to open them up, they're fine. I just personally don't. If you want to open up these with training, do what you got to do. As far as the trophies players, I have used most of my trophies on the Game Changers packs, because out of the Game Changers pack, you can pull an LTD. I just really haven't had a whole ton of success with them. Now, you guys can take a look at where my squad is at. I've kind of given up on making a theme team or a scheme team. So I do not run a team chemistry or, a scheme team either. I am at 40 out of 45 for my specific scheme team. But again, it's not something I'm really worried about overall. But my updated squad looks something like this. I mean, I've got a good squad, but at the end of the day, it's nothing crazy. It's a squad that is obviously really solid and can go out there and compete, but it is really nothing crazy. So it goes back to my whole point of the market right now is kind of in a middle ground. I feel like, we're getting a lot of content each and every week, but I feel like, the content a lot of days is not great. So like today, the Fraternities drop, right? These cards are not great. And so if you're wanting me to do like a Fraternities drop specific or fraternity a video and talking specifically about these cards, it's just not going to happen. I just overall don't love the Fraternities drop, as I feel like most times, these cards just aren't great. And obviously, with the Fraternities drop today, they should go down in price with obviously the Abdul Carter, the new Abdul Carter, these types of things. To me, it's just every one of these Fraternities drops I just look at and I'm like, I just don't love them. And I'm not hating on them, right? I'm not saying like none of these cards can play. Like there are some decent cards. I'm just saying overall, it's just not, it's not a drop that I love, and that's just kind of where I am coming from. Again, some of these new cards could be decent. So like if you're looking at Donovan, for example, I actually really like him at the right end position. I think he's one of the better right ends in the entire game if you look at his stats, and he does fit my 3-3-5 type chemistry. So maybe I might take a look at picking him up. But again, as far as these LTDs today, I'm just not the biggest fan of. Now, as far as the older Fraternities cards, could be worth taking a look at. And even the Xavier Watts card, new Xavier Watts, he's not bad. 96 speed, 98 acceleration, 97 zone. If you play the majority of your defense's zone coverage for your free safety, he's fine. But I just feel like for the 97, 98s overall that we've been getting, they're just okay. They're not bad, but they're just okay. And it's really tough for me to hype them up a ton, especially, like even a Frederique, I don't think is great. Denzel Boston, I don't think is great. And so just overall, the Fraternities just are not ideal. But overall, if you go position by position, there are some cards that I think are really solid value. So like if you go to the quarterback position, for example, and I'll just go on CFB fan and talk you guys through it, like Legway is obviously super expensive. I love Legway. He's actually the quarterback I've got on my squad right now. But his price is pretty crazy. Like 400,000 coins for Legway is expensive. Demond Williams Jr. might be your best value quarterback in the game, because you can always quick sell him for 175. Gets really good abilities. Just don't love the throw accuracy stat. But obviously some solid cards there. And then even if you want to go to some of the cheaper options, some of the cheaper guys, like Mensah for his price is really solid. 65,000 coins can get you Mensah. And so like for me, right now I am obviously running Legway. But if I can get 399,000 coins out of Legway, which I can, I probably should sell him. Because again, I just think, and again, I've pulled Mensah, got a BND version of him. So why would I not just go play with Mensah instead of using DJ Legway right now? That's just tactically downgrading. You're getting slightly worse, but it's not a whole ton worse. And again, if Legway, I'm going to actually put him up for 425. I'll overprice him. If he sells, awesome. But if he doesn't sell, that's okay as well. And so that's just kind of the way that I'm approaching the market right now. You guys can see the recent sales. He's actually selling for even more than I'm going to put him up for. So I would venture to guess that in the next day or so, he's going to sell for 424. And when I bought him for 330 something, that's a pretty good bonus. So I feel like today's not necessarily the best day to buy cards. You guys might disagree with me, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I feel like today is a day that the auction house isn't going down a ton. And it's not necessarily like the worst thing in the world if, you know, if you're one where you're like, Ty, well, I still want to buy cards today. It is what it is, especially obviously, especially with, you know, Gauntlet coming up tomorrow, or today, I should say. It's out today. It's just, in my opinion, if you can get coins right now, I would try to do that, just because I'm just not the big, and it's just me being kind of negative on the Fraternities drop. I'm just not the biggest fan of Fraternities drop. Now, names of the game could drop the auction house. Legends this weekend could drop the auction house, because we have seen a lot of the Legends cards get really good abilities. Those are the types of things, those are the types of content drops that I think really could drop the auction house down. But right now, I mean, even for the wide receiver position, it's tough to get wide receivers with that gold takeoff. So Keenan Allen obviously is super valuable. Same thing with Corey Coleman. But I feel like on a lot of these guys, you don't necessarily need. And even for me, I picked up Tyree Wilson. I really like him. He's cheap. Caleb Johnson, cheap. I like him. Evan Ingram, cheap. I like him. And so those are the other things that I'm looking at is you don't always need those top dogs at every position. Even a guy like Sean Dolak. Guess what? I mean, he doesn't even play for me right now, although he could. I could just put Sean Dolak in my lineup. He doesn't play for me right now, so I'm going to try to sell him for 162 or 159 I would take for Sean Dolak, and we'll just have to wait and see if the card ultimately does sell. So I do think the auction house is kind of in that middle ground position. It's not necessarily a perfect time to buy. It's not necessarily a perfect time to sell. I just think coming off the Valentine's Day rush, I expected the auction house to go down more. We saw an overall bump. We saw a lot of things that would lead me to guess that the auction house would slightly decrease, but it's just not the way it's been. Like if you look at the running back position, for example, look at the new guys. Nixon, not great. Jordan Ball, not great. Corey Conner, he's fine, not great. Bothwell, not great. You know, these cards are fine, but they're just not great. Even the wide receiver position. You look at the newer wide receivers. Denzel Boston, not great. Marsh, not great. Nick Nash is good, but he does not get that gold takeoff. Restrepo is good, doesn't get gold takeoff. And so all of these wide receivers are fine, but unless they get gold takeoff, it's really tough for me to hype them up to that next level, even at the tight end position. It's just like, I feel like a lot of the cards that were the best cards in the game a month ago are still the best cards in the game. And so that's kind of the problem that I feel like this game has had over the course of the last, week or so is, yeah, these cards are fine that are brought into the game, but they're not game-changing good, right? They're not causing the auction house to go way down in price, anything like that. So even for me, like if I look at my corners right now, which again, I've, spent some coins on them. Obviously, Travis Hunter is one of the best corners in the game. But if I can go get 339 out of Travis Hunter, I'm going to do it. I bought the card for 250, and I just feel like eventually, whether it be this weekend, whether it be next week during the week, eventually we are going to see better cards added into the game, and eventually we are going to see the auction house drop because of that. So that's just kind of the way I'm approaching things right now is I'd err on the side of caution with spending coins right now. And if you can find a way to, get a decent amount of coins out of a player, I am on the side where I would err on doing that. So that's just kind of something that I'm looking at is if I can sell these cards for a decent price, get a decent value out of them, I absolutely am doing that. Now, when I do sell cards, guys, I overvalue them because like I'll put this Joey Porter Jr. up for the second cheapest. I'll put him up for $299. Now, it might seem like he's way overpriced, which he is overpriced for $299, but if somebody wants to win in Gauntlet, guess what? They might really pick up Joey Porter Jr. because he's one of the best corners in the game. So again, it's not necessarily a great time to buy. It is a great time I built my squad to win the PL tournament last week. After that, again, I haven't been playing in champs. I haven't really been playing in Gauntlet. Instead, I'd rather build my squad back up, try to make a decent amount of coins doing that. And this is a lot easier to do. This is one of the main reasons that I recommend against doing a theme team or a scheme team is it's a lot easier to buy and sell cards when you don't have a chemistry on them, when you don't have to, take off a team chemistry that costs you 15,000 extra coins. So that's kind of my main approach now is doing what I did a while ago, which I buy these cards for cheap, and then when I go to sell them, I overprice them. If they sell, awesome. If they don't sell, that's fine as well. I can always put them up again. But the best part about it is I don't have to worry about, spending the 15,000 coins and then losing out on that when I do go to sell the card. So that's kind of my favorite part about this is even for like this Jeff Saturday. I got him, I think for I think 250, right? And so if I go and sell him today for 328, that's perfect for me, right? There's no need for me to hang on to Jeff Saturday and be like, well, you know, he helps me out for next week. No. In the meantime, I'll sell him for 328. If he doesn't sell, that's okay. If he sells, awesome. And then I'll look to buy him back for cheaper. So that's kind of my main advice to you guys is if you don't run a scheme team, don't run a theme team, I would err on the side of caution. I do think the content here is going to get ramped up here shortly. Now again, even for me like Andre Johnson, he doesn't have a scheme. He doesn't have an ability on him. So guess what? If I can get 467, I don't think he's going to sell for that. But if he sells for 467, considering I bought him, I think for like less than 300. I don't know for sure what I bought him for. But if he sells for 467, my coins are going to skyrocket, right? I didn't spend this much on these cards. I bought these cards, I think, on Wednesday. But with where the auction house is at right now, I'm telling you, it is a great time to sell on this game. So, again, have fun with the game as always. If you want to play in Gauntlet, do what you guys got to do. I'm just telling you kind of my thought process through this, right? Even this legend, Zach Martin, I do think is going to go down in price. I don't love his price, so I might keep him. But I do think his price probably will drop with the Legends drop. But if you can get a decent amount for these cards, I would recommend doing it, especially if you don't have a specific theme team boost on them. Now for Malik Jefferson, he's an LTD. He's going for 237. There's no reason for me to sell him personally, but go through your collection, see exactly what you are wanting to get out of the game. And guess what? Yeah, I went through and sold a lot of my guys, but if I just go in here and make my best team overall now, I've still got a squad that can go and win with. Like, I've got 2 guys with gold takeoff. Defensively, I've got 2 guys with gold quick jump. Sure, my strong safety position is weak, but outside of that, it's like my guys still can go and compete. And so that's one thing I want you guys to realize is if you do have any of these B and D cards, they can go out there and play. So I'll wait for my things to sell. And as I do that, if I do want to go into Gauntlet, it's not a great squad, but it's a squad that I might be able to at least compete with. Champs, I'll get my 7 win rewards. It's all I had time to play. I'll get my 7 win rewards, take the extra coins out of champs, and then if I want to continue grinding champs, I obviously can do it. Now for the sake of this video, I'll open this field goal pack, open this Hail Mary pack, see what comes of it. Do pull the 92 overall Holden Willis. We'll see what he sells for. Maybe he'll sell for a decent amount, but you never can expect to pull anything crazy out of these packs. But that is going to wrap it up for our video today. It is a great time to sell right now in College Football 25 Ultimate Team. As always, you guys can work the auction house, snipe cards for low, sell them for higher. That's what I did. I spent about 2 hours on what was it, Wednesday, sniping cards for cheaper, selling them for a little bit more before I ultimately did hop in to playing that Players Lounge tournament, winning it, and then selling my squad once again. So and I just always err on the side of caution. I'm no longer building theme teams because for the way I play, for the way I like to do things, it is just ultimately not worth it for me. But that is going to wrap it up for our video today. Let me know your thoughts on where the auction house is at right now. I'm hoping eventually we do see some better and better cards added into the game. I feel like the content has just been stale for the last week or so. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.